Hi there, I'm Tim Clark and I'm joined by Ben Griffin and Dave Boddington, and we're here to talk about the SimCity launch and how that's gone. We've been playing it, the three of us, over the weekend. I've racked up probably about 8 or 9 hours. Ben?
Yeah, same, about a dozen.
Probably north of 16 now.
Dave,
it's become quite a problem.
Dave, you were saying you've built 4 cities over the weekend.
Yeah.
One,
so I've got,
of which is on the screen.
You can see this.
Here.
This is Bodton, which is one of the most heavily time invested cities. But I've got Boddington Shire. Right, and the problem is, I started off by building one city, which isn't even this one, like Boddingtonville, but then quickly expanded very, very fast. And I had like the rivers and an island. It's no space to build anything, so I had to start building extra cities to put more stuff.
We'll come to the state of your
So
cities,
stressful.
which I imagine are the Wire-style slums, a little bit later. What we want to talk about first, I guess, is the launch has been well documented on CVG. It's been very troubled. We've had lots of connection issues, plenty in the US and some, I think, in Europe. How have you guys found it in terms of getting into games, being able to find other people to play with? Has it crashed? Has it dropped out? How have you got it?
I've lost 2 cities. The server just dropped out, and my progress for like an was just gone.
So
and that happened
totally
twice.
lost the city?
Yeah.
You couldn't get back in?
I couldn't get back in.
So what would it do? Would it revert just to green space, or would the city just be gone?
No, it would say in the top corner, it would say, the servers are down, and then just keep flashing red, and then it would just take me out of the game. Have to log back into Origin.
Red flashing is never good news.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
I mean, I started playing on Friday night when I got in, and I had, as many other people describe, you get sort of often stuck in an 18-minute long queue before it will let you play. But I just sort of, without wanting to make light of it, I went off and sort of made a cup of tea, came back, and it was pretty much fine. After that, it seemed to run okay. I had one moment where all the buttons disappeared, so whatever you pressed on, just nothing would come up.
That same thing, yeah.
I restarted and it was okay, and the city was still there. The big flip out I had was I'm an old man. I got quite tired on Saturday, so I went for a little nap in the afternoon.
Yeah.
When I came back, my girlfriend had started her own city, and she said, "Oh yeah, there was a problem with one of the server updates, so it's wiped all our saves." Which I just stood there, sort of shaking for about 10 minutes. Then went and had another lie down. Then started. I looked in Origin and fired the game. I'm sure enough the game was gone. So then I started, not angrily, but quite sternly tweeting the SimCity Twitter account saying,
I saw that, yeah.
My saves are gone. Any chance you could do anything about that or tell me what I should do? Because they were replying to other people, but just didn't acknowledge any of that. So then I thought I'd have a go at going through EA customer support, and I went through one of those live chat things where, again, you had to wait for like half an hour before you got to speak to a person theoretically called Erica, although the English would suggest they might have been placed somewhere else in the world. And the first thing they said to me was, "Welcome to EA Sports," and I went, "I'm here for SimCity, I've applied for SimCity." And then we went through a long discussion where the person at the other end was saying, "I think it's probably a fault with your dynamic wallpaper in Windows, you should probably switch that off." At that point I just gave up and went to the pub, and then Ben, do you want to jump in here, because you'd had the same problem and you managed to fix it for me?
Yeah, basically, they don't tell you this, but the cities are located on a server and they don't migrate across. So if you're on EU1, then you can't jump into EU2 and continue your save game.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It
when
sounds
you
obvious,
think about
but
it sort of makes sense. But there's no point. You're told that at no point that your game saves are not persistent to you across the whole game.
Exactly.
You have to remember what server you're on and find it in there. Which is, once you know that, it's fine. But
and then if they do some work on that, then obviously you can't get into your game for like an hour.
So does that mean then, in terms of like the overcrowding problems they seem to have had, because when you're firing up a new game, you'll look at the list of servers and like maybe 8 out of 10 will be unavailable. So if your game just happens to be located on a busy one, that's just tough titty for you.
Yeah. But apparently Lucy Bradshaw, the head of Maxis, got some statistics here. They improved the server response time by 40, and they doubled the number of players since launch. So
I found it strange with Maxis' response to it. They came out and said, people are playing it in ways that we couldn't have anticipated from the beta.
Yeah.
But the beta only let you play for an hour, so of course that wasn't going to be representative of the way people would play it. I mean, I found even when I was pausing it to go and go and get a drink from the kitchen or something, I was worried that I'd be seen as like a dead user and I'd be logged off or something. But it hasn't really been like that. The funny thing is, because if you read the whole internet, no one can read the whole internet. That's crazy.
Yeah.
If you read a lot of the internet, you'd think it was the worst launch probably of all time, certainly since Diablo 3. But truthfully, I've had a good weekend playing it.
That's it. Saturday morning, I logged in for the first time. And
That's not to excuse the problems with it.
No. But I had the 18-minute wait and then got in fine. No problems. You know, I'd had the flashing indicator in the top left of the screen a few times saying, you know, connection interrupted. But it would continue playing. It wouldn't kick me out. I only got kicked out once all weekend. And then, you know, I just left it for half an hour, went back in. I had another 18-minute queue to get through. Straight back in. It was fine. Overall, it's been for me, it's been quite a good service.
But I suppose it's one of the interesting things about it is that you feel like if we're moving to this world now where increasingly games do have DRM enabled, and some games now are online only. You look at a game like Destiny coming from Bungie, which is going to have no offline mode at all, and that's going to launch across multiple formats, next gen and current gen. You can only but predict disaster for the launch of a game like that. Now maybe they'll have like much more foresight than Maxis or than Blizzard, but you kind of fear not. And I remember trying to play Call of Duty multiplayer on PS3 when the first Black Ops came out. It was a shambles for a couple of days. It's hard not to see more of these types of incidents coming up. Ben, you famously, or semi-famously, previewed SimCity and said you didn't think the DRM would be an issue. But you've apologised for that subsequently.
I called it.
Now's a chance to do it in person.
I called it a non-issue. I can't even make eye contact with the camera.
When what you meant was quite a big issue.
Yeah.
Like, it was hard to predict that it would be so bad though, because you've got Diablo, you've got the problems with that, and you think, well, EA can't be as worse as the Diablo launch. Like, they must be doing it because they know it works. Like, why would they repeat the same mistakes? But obviously, I think it's just ahead of its time, online DRM. And I think all the problems could be rooted in the number of servers they had. If they overestimated rather than underestimated, all the problems will be gone. It's just the number of servers that they had were too little.
But without any of this being progress, I mean, because there's been talk as well about why don't they just offer an offline mode, and the response has been that, well, A, you idiots don't know how complicated that would actually be, and B, that there seems to be a suggestion that a lot of the sort of back-end computational stuff in terms of how your cities run is handled server-side rather than on the client, so it's not quite as simple as just dumping it back to your desktop machine. But what I find bizarre is this idea that they didn't want to include like some sort of kind of diet or light version that let you just play on your own, because as people, there's a petition I think already like 50,000 strong with people calling for there to be an offline mode. But if you buy a game like SimCity, why shouldn't you be able to play it on a train on a laptop?
Yeah, I agree with that.
It seems bizarre to me.
Then that might undermine their efforts to make it really hard for pirates. If they make it available offline, then there's a kind of a entryway pirates in there.
Yeah, I mean, not to dismiss the problem of piracy, but it does feel like kind of breaking a butterfly on a wheel to take like a huge chunk of your customers and make them really, really angry. The ones who've properly ponied up £45. Although I guess they're going to give away a free game. That's going to... Would that cheer you up?
No, it probably wouldn't, no. It's just weird, like, you can't imagine Valve doing this, can you? This is an EA thing to do.
I honestly didn't feel angry at all until the point where I thought my 6-hour-long city had been deleted, and then my inclination was never to play the game ever again.
It's hard to have faith in the game. You kind of feel like you're on borrowed time in a way.
Yeah.
If you're playing and then you're like on the clock, and it's like, am I going to lose my save here?
But do you think this? I mean, if you play Diablo now, it's like incredibly stable. Do you think this thing, like a couple of months down the line, will just? I mean, it won't be a non-issue, but do you think people will just kind of forgive and forget?
I think based on the weekend I've had with it anyway, in comparatively low number of issues, it's been a fantastic gaming experience. It's a brilliantly constructed game. It's amazing.
Do you feel like you'll keep going with it, Dave?
I've been talking with a few people about this. The worry is it's so good. It's such a deadly time sink. I'm terrified about it, just sapping my life.
Well, I certainly pissed like most of my weekend into it.
It's mad.
In fact, I watched like a crime drama on iPlayer at the same time while I was building the city, and I was so enveloped by it. I watched 5 hours of this crime drama, and at the end I still don't really understand who the killer was because I wasn't concentrating
Well, that was the
properly.
thing, because there was Test cricket on this weekend, so it was lovely having that on in the background, just SimCity.
But I wonder whether it's going to be the sort of obsession that almost like flames out quite quickly, because I've built 2 quite big cities, and perhaps this is indicative of my lack of imagination, but I built them almost identically because I couldn't think of any other way to really build it successfully. Before we go, what's your top tip for city building, Dave?
Tax them high. Tax them real high.
If you put on
no.
if we put on the happiness map on Dave's City now, it looks like
they are pretty sad. And I'm
a
losing,
latter day Sodom.
apparently losing 14,000 now, but it's fine. It's fine. No, the trick is, I think, is just to constantly
Something
go
just
up and
literally
down.
blew up on the screen, Dave.
Oh, no.
Something
It's fine. It's fine.
exploded.
They'll be fine. To keep going up and down on your taxes all the time, keep bouncing back and forward, but also host events. Events is the best way to get in quick cash and regular cash.
Ben?
I like to host events, but I normally turn off my stadiums at night to save money.
That's good.
Isn't that when the events happen at night?
Well,
after
whenever
midnight.
I'm not using them, I just turn them off, forget about them, turn them back on again.
This actually brings me on to the problem I've got at the moment. Because I'm micromanaging 4 cities, like that level of management I just simply can't maintain.
Have any of you guys managed to play with other people and swap
No,
resources and stuff? No,
that's
I
one of the
haven't
problems
either.
I've encountered. Can't play anyone else, can't add friends. So,
Let's close up by saying then, would you recommend to CVG viewers that they buy now and try it now, or do you think they should wait?
I think all the problems have been most of the problems have been ironed out now. It was just a really rocky few days, but yeah, go buy the game. It's really good.
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
probably say, I'm gonna say I would pick it up. We sound like awful shills now, but I would pick it up.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a really good game.